Hi, everybody. It's Colin here from Vismo. It's a little bit early. I know it's dead on right on the time now, but we've still got quite a few attendees to join. So if you don't mind, if we could just hang on to maybe a couple of minutes past the hour, just to allow those people who might be rushing from other meetings to join the session. You'll all be put on mute, and I think your cameras are all switched off. But you will have the opportunity to add questions and answers in the Q&A side of things, but I'll repeat all of this information when we actually finally kick off, because even as I talk, people are dropping in. So I'll just leave it until 2 minutes past the hour, and then myself and Suzanne will start. And I hope you're all well, and thank you for joining. And I at least need a few more because we're on unlucky 13 at the moment, so we need a few more people to join. No, that's better. We're out of unlucky 13 now. Hello. Hi, Bruce. How you doing? Nice to see you or hear from you. Hello from Belgrade.
It's an international bunch.
Mm.
Well, two countries at least representing.
Just a few more seconds. Honestly, the numbers are really going up rapidly, so I'll just a few more seconds. I know it's 2 minutes past. Suzanne, should we go for it? Should we say it's 2 minutes past everybody who's going to join and anybody is now in, or do you want to go for it?
That's it. I think this is it. This is called fashionably late. Anything after this, you're too late. So let's go.
All right, okay. I'll share my screen. If somebody could just tell me that they can see a wonderful agenda screen, that would be helpful. Can you see it, Suzanne? Perfect. Okay, well, welcome everybody. The numbers are still going up. It's great. Thank you for joining this seminar. We're absolutely delighted to have you join us here. I'm Colin. For those of you who don't know me, Colin from Vismo. I'm part of the commercial team here at Vismo, and I'm joined by my good friend Suzanne from Riskline, who will introduce herself in a second. We've scheduled the session to last for 20 minutes, and it's an overview of the partnership that Riskline and Vismo have had in place for prior to COVID, so it's 4 or 5 years now. We've muted everybody, cameras are off, but you can raise questions in the Q&A box. So if you want to type any of those in there over the course of the presentation, feel free to do so, and we'll answer them towards the end of the session. Honestly, we'll try and keep it to 20 minutes and leave 10 minutes for question and answers. So I hope you enjoy the session. I'm going to hand over to Suzanne to talk about the agenda. Well, I'll just click this button here. There we go. So the agenda is understanding global risk, which Suzanne will cover off. I'll talk about levering the technology from risk management side of things. I'll then do a demonstration on the Vismo Riskline integration, and I'll kind of cover off a little bit of a case study of something that's actually happening at the moment, which it will hopefully look very relevant and very real for you. So, Suzanne, over to you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Colin, for really inviting Riskline, myself, here this evening, this morning, wherever you are in the world. I know people usually like to talk about themselves, and I am no different. So a little bit about me and a little bit about Riskline before we then kind of get into global risks, which are also local risks, and why that's important to know about. I am the Director of Travel and Technology at Riskline. I also oversee the commercial operations in the company. Riskline, for those of you who may not know, we are a travel risk intelligence company headquartered in the beautiful, super hygge Danish city of Copenhagen, which is a little bit dreary today as telling Colin, very typical Danish June weather we're having. But really, we are a global company. We are based in over 20 countries around the world. That's how we're able to maintain our 24/7 operations and provide the services we do, which is travel risk intelligence. It's basically everything that a company, a travel manager, HR, a security manager, as well as the traveler themselves would need to know before a trip and also while they're on location. So anything about the destination from a travel, security, safety, or health standpoint. Examples being, gosh, visa rules, passport ID rules, if you need specific documents or vaccine records to enter a country, from the travel standpoint of kind of the local transportation system, getting around the city center, is public transportation safe to use? Yes or no? The situation when it comes to mining your P's and Q's, as I like to say, so cultural aspects or any sort of sensitivities when it comes to bringing up topics with unknown new acquaintances, specific traveler information, and then, of course, the kind of deeper, meatier topics of security situation on the ground. So conflict, unrest, terrorism, and so on. How we do this is with our team of analysts that we have that are based around the world. They are located in countries, I like to say, where the news happens. So it kind of gives Riskline a little extra flavor and spice. We're doing this with a mix of AI and also human intelligence. So the AI really helps our team work more efficiently, really kind of break through that fire hose of news noise that can kind of happen, and to source our information more effectively. And then it's all down to human intelligence in terms of the analysis and the assessment work. We curate everything by humans. We're writing everything by humans. Everything is verified by humans as well. And then we push this information out by API to wonderful partners such as Vismo. So we're working kind of with a distribution network. It could be security technology platforms, travel technology platforms, the insurance industry, basically anyone who is looking to have this information in their own product. We really think of ourselves as kind of like an ecosystem player. So having, I guess, partners, that you can sort of trust and rely on to plug in our information by API into their platform. And it also allows for a lot of customization. So it's kind of our data, our partners' way, however they would like it, whatever kind of information they would like to visualize. We're all sort of gearing up together to help create this seamless, stressless travel experience. And of course, built on the risk and crisis management and resiliency aspect. So talking about that and all the risk management and all the risks that are happening in the world, there are people who definitely more, I guess, knowledgeable, and we could be a lot more eloquently speaking about this topic. But to give kind of some headlines, thinking about what is happening around the world today in terms of, the Israel and Palestinian conflict, the pro-Palestinian protests that are, of course, popping up around the world in reaction to this. This is what's keeping our team busy quite a bit. What's going on still in the unrest in New Caledonia. We're having heavy rainfall in Germany. Definitely, weather is a big topic at the moment. We're right into Atlantic hurricane season that started at the top of the month. And it's also tropical cyclone season in the northern hemisphere in APAC, so in the Indian Ocean and northern Pacific. And not to mention, as things start to heat up where other places are kind of getting wet, we kind of hit into wildfire, heat waves in parts of Europe and North America. That's kind of coming soon, I guess, to a cinema near us. But also, that's not to say, there's a lot of things are happening in the world that don't make big headlines. There are risks right outside of our own doorsteps, and it's important to kind of understand these, understand that, risk isn't isolated to the areas we would just assume to be more higher risk in general. Colin and I were talking about this earlier, just how, there'll be travel managers, security managers who kind of say, look, we're only traveling to, 24 countries, nothing that would be kind of rated as really extreme or high risk. Do we really need to know about this information? Do we need to really have such a robust tool? And really, yeah, this could happen anywhere. Travel can be disrupted. And that's typically when travel is disrupted, it's by these routine things, not the kind of higher ticket items that usually make the headlines, but routine disruptions, strikes, protests, weather kind of incidents. And of course, public safety incidents can happen, at any time. I just got back from Paris last night, and of course, I was staying near the Place Republique, which was just a protest haven. Streets were shut down nearby, and detours creating a lot of headache just when it came to kind of trying to get out of that area with a lot of police presence and so on. So, it's really important to inform prepared travelers, have a product such as Vismo's platform in order to kind of harness the information and getting it to the traveler at the right time, so they can stay safer and also be prepared and make less risky business decisions. So I think that sets the tone a little bit, Colin. I know when it comes to kind of leveraging technology for risk management, that's your whole area. So how do you see it?
Oof, the biggest problem I've got delivering technology is making sure all the screen shares work on this webinar. So I'm going to try and do that now. So what I'm going to try and do is move Vismo across to the screen share. If somebody, Jen, maybe could just give me the heads up that you can see the Vismo portal on the screen at the moment. Thank you. Wonderful. Well, thanks for that, Suzanne. Great introduction. We first contacted Riskline about 4 or 5 years ago, and the reason we did this was we had customers using Vismo saying, you know what, it's really good that we can see exactly where our traveler's location is, but we've also got this wonderful platform called Riskline who are feeding in some wonderful information. Could you marry all that information together in one portal so I can see exactly where my travelers are and see any potential incidents or hazard that might occur or be occurring, so I can give any appropriate advice to those particular travelers? So what you're looking at here at the moment is the Vismo portal with some of my team scattered around various parts of the world. And what we've done is we brought in Riskline's information. So if I turn this on now, and I'll actually just look at myself, and this is kind of a case study working at the same time. So this is Colin here up in, as we say, God's own country, up in glorious Yorkshire. You can see my little pin jumping up and down. And if I zoom out, you will start to see some of these alerts start to appear. Now, if I was to go from the relative safety of Yorkshire and jump on a flight to a particular destination, and as Suzanne said, not one that's necessarily high risk, and I am going to cheat a little bit here. I'm going to share the Vismo app on my phone. So I am really testing everything here. So I'll just move that across. Is that going to work? Yes. Just bear with me 1 second. I'm hoping the Vismo app will come up on my phone. Here we go. And you can see the Vismo app and the home screen, and you can see that I am actually in York. That's appearing on the top of the screen here. That's really annoying, isn't it? That's jumping up and down. Okay. It doesn't like it. Is that flashing on and off for everybody? Certainly flashing on and off for me. There we go. I've stopped it. You can see that I'm actually in York at the moment. But if I trick the Vismo app, and I do have the capability of doing this, and I suddenly jumped on a flight and I went to, let's say, Antwerp. So I'm going to fake my location here, save that, OK, and go back and go to the home screen of Vismo and just refresh. You can see all of a sudden that I've jumped to Antwerp. You could see it if it was on the top of the screen. Now, if I go to Antwerp itself, I can see that there's been a deadly explosion reported in Antwerp in Flanders. Local sources indicate that at least one person was killed. So lots of very, very useful information here, all provided by, in the bottom right-hand corner there, provided by Riskline. So I could potentially be impacted by that incident. I also get that information. I'm going to take this one off and just put the Vismo app on, because that's I also get this information. If you could just see it at the top of the screen there, I also get a indication that my risk rating has gone from safe or normal to a higher risk rating. And if I click on the app itself within there, I can see that as a user, as a traveler, I would be indicated that I would get the indication that local sources indicate that at least one person was killed, etc. So the information that the GSOC from the security manager point of view is getting on the Vismo portal from Riskline is also passed down to the end user. So the traveler is getting this information in real time, informing them exactly what's gone wrong and why there is an elevated risk threat. As well as that, I'm getting lots of information about the political situation, conflict and terrorism, crime, law and corruption, again, all passed down to the end user. So when I arrived in Belgium, because Vismo knows my location, as soon as I arrived in Belgium, this information will be updated. So if I click on overview, Belgium is a low risk destination. And exactly as Suzanne was saying, it is a low risk destination until something goes wrong. And when something goes wrong, it suddenly becomes a very high risk destination. Personal safety. I don't know, Suzanne, you want to talk about a little bit about personal safety side of things? This is your real forte.
Yeah, I know, definitely. And what I really like about the app, it's very self-serve. Someone can click on what's of interest to them. They can also see the most important things up front, because you do want to kind of proactively tell your traveler what is happening at that destination. Um, but a destination isn't just, the risk doesn't, I should say here, the risk isn't just about the destination. We also have to consider the traveler and who they are, their risk profile. Everyone has their own unique risk profile. And we have to think about things like gender, sexual orientation, age, nationality, medical sort of situation, or if there's any health considerations a traveler has, if they're a traveler that has a disability or accessibility issue. These are other items to take into consideration, because it could be a low risk country for some people, but not for others based on their own personal situation. So the personal element of risk management and people risk management is exceptionally important to sort of talk about nowadays. It's not just the destination we have to think about. So also having, this specific information for travelers that they can self-serve, so we're not having to take in people's data or information. We just provide it to them and they can read if they so wish, to stay safe.
Great. I'm going to get rid of this now because it is flashing on and off, which is really, really annoying, and bring the Vismo portal back. I'm hoping you've got the Vismo portal back. Yeah, so as I say, I've arrived in Antwerp, and as soon as I arrive in Antwerp, I get notified that my risk rating has increased. So as a user, I'm kept informed. I know why it's increased because of a particular incident in the particular area. I won't be getting alerts from anywhere else. I'm only getting those ones that are geographically specific to me. And you can see as I travel around the world here, there are different alerts, different color coding. So as you'd expect, you can see some higher rating ones in Ukraine and Israel, something going on in Eritrea here. Houthi drones target bulk carrier in southwest of whatever the town is there. So some very, very useful information. I'm conscious of time. I know we said we'd only be 20 minutes for the talking and leave 10 minutes open to questions and answers. And we're spot on the 10 minutes now for questions and answers. I'll open the floor to questions and answers if anybody wants to type any in. If you want to speak, I think we can unmute all the attendees. Jen, can you do that? Entirely up to you. Okay. No questions from anybody? I can't see any.
Well, I've got a question for you, Colin.
All right, okay.
Um, I mean, outside of the information aspect, what other sort of technical capabilities do you have, I guess, and to keep the traveler safe?
Well, if there was an incident to occur, let's say hypothetically there was one in Antwerp, and I'll pick this one in Antwerp here. What I can do from here, if there was anybody using the Vismo portal in this particular area, so maybe there was a sales conference and a lot of people were in Antwerp, and I wanted to get a message out to them really quickly to say, look, guys and ladies, you need to get to wherever. I can really easily create an incident from the portal. Anybody in that particular area, I can send a message to, and I'll just call it explosion. And I can say there's been an explosion. I know this is a bit dramatic, but I think you get the idea here. In your area, get rid of that. Are you okay? And that message can be sent out with, at the moment, it's 3 options. Please let me know you're safe. Tell me if you're uncertain about your safety, or let me know if you require assistance. This message will go out as an in-app message, first of all, to the users with the app. If they don't respond within 1 minute, it'll go out as an email. If they don't respond to 1 minute, and all of this can be changed, so I'm just changing this really quickly on the fly. If they don't respond via the email, it'll go as a text message. And finally, if they are really stubborn and don't respond via the text message, their phone will ring and it will give them the 3 options that are here and say, press 1 on your keypad to say that you're okay, etc. All of those responses are correlated with red, amber, and green, along with a new location. So you're getting up-to-date information on a traveler's particular state, and also being able to give appropriate advice back to them as well. So that's a quick and easy way, really quick and easy, to get a message out to all of those individuals. So we're just levering Riskline's technology in terms of the alert itself, Vismo's technology in terms of the location, and then some mass communications to send out those messages to let people know and give any appropriate advice. One's just come in, actually. Somebody just said, what happens if I am in a particular area and already and an incident occurs? I'm not entering it. If you are in an area already and an incident occurs in that area and not entering it from outside of the area, you'll still get notified, because the risk rating on the Vismo app will automatically increase to whatever the new risk rating is, and any changes in risk rating up or down will let the traveler, the end user, know that there's been a change in status. So if it elevates, you'll get a notification. The traveler will get a notification to say it's now a higher risk. They can click on the red, amber, and green scale, look in to see what the incident was. If that disappears for whatever reason, the incident is cleared, the risk rating goes back down. The traveler is also notified that it's now safe. Thanks for this. Can you share more about how you handle data privacy security of business travelers, especially regarding the tracking personal information connected during the trips? Good question. This is probably one for me, isn't it, Suzanne? I've got it. Don't worry. I've got it.
Yeah. I mean, like, look, we push out our information. So this is one of the great things. We're really not taking in anybody's data. Since we are an information provider, we're pushing everything out. And then we leave it up to our partners to kind of deal with that. Sometimes can be a little bit tricky tracking, let's call it locating business of travelers.
Yeah, the way we do it, that there's no personal information held on the mobile phone on the Vismo app. So when you sign up to Vismo, your username, email address, and everything is stored at the server side. When you activate the Vismo app, you get given a unique 16-digit code. That's what's held on the phone. The only other bits of information, which we absolutely have to have, are the latitude and longitude. We take battery status as well, so people can see what the battery drain is. And if you press and activate the panic alert, that will generate some data. When that happens, the user ID, along with the latitude and longitude, battery levels, and the location, are sent through to the portal. And it's at the portal side that the translation is done to give the user's name, etc. So panic button's activated. user ID goes down the pipe over the mobile network, down the pipe to our servers on Azure. And that's where the translation brings up that it's Suzanne who's actually pressed the panic button. We are an ISO 27001 company, so we adhere to really strict data GDPR regulations, data compliance. We're forever filling in InfoSec questionnaires for banks and building societies, and we use the same encoding that banks and building societies use for the transfer of data and for data at rest as well. So in terms of keeping data safe and secure, we're really keen that we adhere to very strict policies, all of which we document. And as I say, we're forever filling in lengthy InfoSecs to assure our clients that we are looking after their travelers' data. Thank you for that one. That's a good one. Long answer, but a good question. Any other questions? No, thank you. No, if anybody, I'm sure people will wonder. That's a good question. Hi, Suzanne. Susanna, Colin. Does the platform generate reports such as how many incidents I have sent in a certain period? From the Vismo portal, they're all live, so you will see the incidents all happening, the alerts all happening in real time. And if Riskline decide that the alert is no longer active, it'll be removed automatically from the platform. When you create an incident, as I've just done to say, there's been an explosion in your area, yes, all of that, the platform generates reports in terms of how many incidents have been created, who the messages were sent to, who's responded, who hasn't responded, and what their status was in terms of the response. Did they respond with a positive, neutral, or a negative response? And how many incidents have I? Yeah, and that's stored over a period of time. We retain data as a default for up to 12 months. If for whatever reason you want to hold data for less, as lots of people do, you can set that up as within your data retention period within the portal. But yes, it's all held and can be reported on. But good question. Thank you for that. Is the Riskline, it's a good one, this, yes. Is the Riskline data available to all users, or is it a contract add-on? That's a good question. It is a contract add-on. So we just partner with Riskline and others as well. We're completely agnostic. So it is the client who has the relationship directly with Riskline. They have the relationship with you, have the relationship with Riskline, you have a relationship with Vismo, and all we need is from Riskline is what they call the secret key, and we plumb that into Vismo, and the Riskline information will appear automatically in the platform. So it's a relationship that you have with Riskline and a relationship that you have with Vismo, but the integration is really, really easy to do. I hope that answers that question. Thank you. Any other questions? No, I think that's it. Well, unless there's no more questions, it just leaves me to say thank you so much for your time. Oh, hang on. If many people respond, I require assistance. How does the platform handle it? There is a reporting mechanism. So all the responses come through into incident reports here. So you can see exactly who's responded. You can also see it in real time as well, actually. So within the incident side of things, you can see in real time who's responded, what they've responded with. But post incident, once it's been closed down, you can also get a report out of once it's been closed, who responded, what the responses were, when they responded, and their locations as well. I hope that answers that one. Thank you. No more questions? Last orders? Anybody for a last question? Right. It just leaves me to thank you so much for joining this webinar. I hope you found it useful. We're always, from Vismo point of view, we're always happy to do demonstrations to anybody. I love doing them. So please just drop me a message if you want to do a demonstration. I want to thank Suzanne so much for joining me and being such a wonderful partner to work with. Suzanne, last words from you.
No, I mean, thank you, Colin, for being such a great partner to work with as well.
We
You
just
know, it
love each
makes
other,
it
don't we? Just love each other, don't
right.
we?
It's just so simple, you know, really, the best of both worlds.
So thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your day and hopefully speak to you sometime soon.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Take care. Oh. Oh, there's still some hanging around. Bruce is still hanging around. I think he might. Do you want to chat? Do you, Bruce?
These are the multitaskers, right? Yeah. The podcast is continuing in the background as we're checking our email.
Well, if anybody's still hanging around, they want to chat, you're more than welcome. We're just going to have a quick chat about things. You're more than welcome to have a conversation. We're happy to open up the microphones. I don't know how I do that. I don't know if we could do it. Suzanne Collins does the I've got all that. Right. There's still good to get some insight into Vismo Riskline
Thanks.
after
Thanks,
hop. Catch you
Bruce.
later, everybody. Take care. I'll give you a call separately, Suzanne.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye bye.